today's live stream. Tonight we are going to be talking more about writer tools. I'm going to introduce you to something that I just found yesterday called PureRef. So without further ado, let me show you PureRef and how to get it. It's free and it is a little overlay that you can put on your desktop to be able to accumulate pictures from the internet. Now I will show you how I have used this today. So let me first get the link, and I put this in a handy dandy place so I can find it. Okay, so first I will put this link for PureRef. So say I wanted to go over to Pexels.com and research something for a book cover or for a character. Now I am writing, today I thought I would pull not just any orphan into Plottr and let you see how beautifully it pulls in Snowflake profiles. So say I am researching for that novel and I'm going to think about, okay, what do I need for the book cover? Now I already have a cover for it, which I put together some months ago. Well, I guess in December I put this together. So I will show you what I came up with. So I'm going to go into my book covers, files, and go over to, oops, book covers. All right, I'm going to go to future. Not just any orphan. Where is it? Oh, I don't have it in here. Where did I put my notes? I probably have them under people. Genesis 8 female. Characters. Earthens. And I probably have but I should have that book cover already made. Alright, let me see if I've got it in here and just haven't, because I filmed it last night. Well, if it's not in future, I wouldn't have put it down here in Amazon yet, would I? No, I didn't go entirely daft. It's not there. So, and I don't see it just out in my book cover folder. So why am I not finding it in my future thing? Finding my files is the hard part because I keep moving them around. I shouldn't do that. I should keep them one place. And I had many, many files for this book cover, so I'm trying to think, where have I got this? Where have I got this? Sorry to keep you waiting. And I'm looking under her name. She is not there. What did I name her? I thought it was an L name. Oh dear. I know I have it. I just have to find it. Well, she's not in people. I wouldn't have put it in the writing folder, would I? No. I have too many folders that I could stick things in. But I put the book cover together. Where are my files? Oh, this is so frustrating. I don't know where I put them. Well, okay. Well, let's just get on with it, shall we? I can't find my cover I did, which is a source of frustration, but I think I gathered it in Plottr. I will find out. So I was going to show you how to use PureRef. Basically, you have a little area, and so you can go on the internet. If I go to Pexels, I was going to think of something with not just any orphan, but I can't think of anything because I already have the cover done. So say I want an empty apartment. So I have PureRef up. So I can just look at photos and try to, let's see, that's interesting looking. I'll drop that in. Oh, here we go. Okay, I've got one picture in. Let's look at some other, there's that. So drop that in. I can just drag these. See how easy this is? I can just drag it into PureRef, and I have it right here. And I can zoom in or out by using the scroll wheel on my 3-button mouse. And this works on whatever operating system. It works on your Windows, it works on your Mac, it works on Linux. It's wonderful. So I put the link on how to get it. So here's a nice scene. Okay, so I've got some scenes here. Now I can save it, but I can also do Control A for Control All, and I can go Control P to pack them. Now I have them all in a row. Look at that. I like the way those two go together. The last two. So then you can drag this group wherever you want to on there, and you can keep adding to it. You can unselect, you just click on them to select. You can click and drag to select several, And you can move the group around. If you do the Control P to pack, then it just puts them together neatly for you. And you can do Control N to put a note. And I can call it empty apartment. And I can also do a screenshot. So say I want to do a screenshot in Pexels. So I can do my screenshot. Then I can go to my screenshots folder. And let's see, I'm going to go to pictures. Not there. Needs to be on the D drive. Pictures. Screenshots. And I just did a screenshot by holding down my Windows key and hitting print screen. So now I can go to Pictures, Screenshots, and down here, where is it? It should be there. It should be there. Now I can't find the screenshot I just did. Oh heavens. I have too many screenshots. Let me see. Would it be in my camera roll? No. Screensaver? No. It should be in screenshots. Maybe. Well, let me see. So where's the picture I just screenshotted? Did it go on the C drive? It might have gone in the evil C drive. My C drive is tiny. It's an SSD drive, so I don't put anything on it because I'm scared of filling it up. Aren't I silly? Okay, let's look at pictures. That's going to be users, pictures. If I can make my eyes see it. It's hard when you are older. I'm going cross-eyed looking at all these. Okay, where's the pictures folder? I'm just going to click on that and do P. It's not there. Heavens. It ought to be there. Would it be in the Documents folder? Surely not. I hate going to my C drive because it's so complicated. I don't know why it has to be so complicated. It used to be easy when it was just one user account and it was on your local machine. Now everything's internet. But my pictures, no. And my access is denied. This is another reason I hate the C drive. Why should my access be denied? I am the only person who uses my computer. I do not understand that. I really do not understand that. Alright, there should be a pictures folder and I am not finding it. Maybe it's under videos captured? No. So many different places that one has to look to find a stupid screenshot. It should not be this hard. Well, I can't find the screenshot I just did. I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna use my Windows game bar. I know where to look for those captures because it shows them to me. Now, show all captures. And why isn't it here? I just did us. I don't understand this. Alright. Now I did a screenshot. Show all captures. And there it is. Alright. Now, show me the clipboard. Oh, come on. Why is this hard? I want to go to the... Oh, come on. I want to go to the folder. Why can't I go to my folder? I'm just having problems tonight. I already had my monthly meltdown over the bills. My daughter has the patience of a saint. But, anyway. We have enough money to cover everything. That's not it. But there were some things I wanted from DAZ Studio and I overspent. So I don't get to do my monthly DAZ this month. And it's not a big deal, but oh well. I have enough things from DAZ. I have enough things to play with in DAZ Studio. I really don't need to worry about it. Alright, I'll take another one. And I want to show all the captures. And open file location is right there. Okay, continue. Yes. Now, here it is. I'm going to drag it into PureRef. Alright. Now I have my, well, why didn't it go in there? Go in there. Yes, you, go in there. Now I have a collage. Now, there is a way to crop this. So if I want to just go to one picture, then I can pick one picture out of these and zoom in on some element that I want. That's not going to do. But if I go to the picture itself, alright, and if I, let's see, la, 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 la. That didn't do it. But I can right click and pull the whole thing up. Now I can, whoops, that isn't what I wanted to do. I'm in Pexels. What I want to do is go to PureRef and I want to make this bigger. And now I can go in and you notice that the quality, I mean, if I zoom way in, yeah, any picture is going to degrade, but I can just, you know, I could pick out one part of this picture and crop it. I haven't learned to do it yet, so I'm not going to do it right now, but it's really nifty that you have the option to do it, and you can scroll out and you can do Control P and it puts them neatly together, and then look at that. It's like a presentation. You can add notes and make it look nice, and then if I want to save this, all I've got to do is right click, go save, and I'm going to save it as, and it opens the folder I've got for my reference shots, and I'm just going to call it Empty Apartment. Now how cool is that? You can also take this say I want to go into GIMP and do something with these pictures, I can go in there and load one of these up. And if I want to use part of this as a reference, I can actually make it transparent and drag it on top of my work area. So I can add lines and go along maybe I wanted to use one of these arches as a pattern. I could trace it with my mouse. You know, I'm not doing a very good job here, but I could have that over something that I want to put that line in, and with it transparent, it's like I'm drawing directly on the GIMP canvas. So there are bunches of videos on YouTube about how to use PureRef, and I have put the link to it. So it's awesome. And if you go to the website, let me change the capture to, where is it? Yeah, well, that's PureRef. If I go to the website, now you can see what I'm seeing. You can go to download it, and you choose your platform, and then you select the amount you want to pay. You can donate £10 or £5 to them, or you can do custom amount, and you can even put 0 in there and get it for free. So, which is what I did because I overspent this month. Sorry, PureRef, but they really deserve more than £0. So, and then you check out, and then you download it, and you get it for free, and it is an awesome tool. I encourage you, if you do download it, please donate them something. Do it for me, since I couldn't donate this month. It's wonderful. So, and this is the shape splitter, which I'm trying to use. Trying to learn to use. I am not very good at this, but hopefully I'm going to get a giant hand out of it. Okay, so now let's look at Snowflake Pro. We're going to shift gears here. And how do you get Snowflake Pro? If you buy the book, you get it for free. So if you search Snowflake Method, like I have many times recently, you can go to Snowflake Method for designing a model at advancedfictionwriting.com. And this is Randy Ingermanson's site. And if you go down here, he's got and I'm already following his blog, so I'm not going to do that. I love the Snowflake Method. If you're not familiar with it, it is a way to write a novel from scratch, starting with one sentence of 15 words or less. It's a wonderful method. You start with the one sentence. Next step, you expand that sentence to 5 sentences, a whole paragraph. And then you take each of your sentences in the paragraph and expand each of those to a paragraph. And building that way, you can see your plot structure. And if you think, oh, I'm a pantser, I write my stuff and then I go edit it. Well, you can use Snowflake Method because I am doing it. And I'm going to show you how I do it. So, let me show you how to get the Snowflake Pro software. So, and he also mentions Plottr. Now, I went and bought that. That's one reason I'm broke this month. I bought Plottr, so I am going to show you how I use that and how much of a fun tool it is. So, but first I wanted to show you, alright, how to write a novel with the Snowflake Method. Now, if you buy this book, and I guarantee you it is a fun read, it demonstrates the Snowflake Method by telling a story, and it is riveting. I got it, and I was just going to skim over it. I ended up sitting down reading the whole thing cover to cover. So it's definitely a good investment. It's $11.99. The ebook is $5.99, which is very, very reasonable. And if you buy this book, then you have a link to unlock Snowflake Pro. And Snowflake Pro is free. So, let's see. And here's a little taste of it. And so Goldilocks goes to a writing class, and it becomes this story that you want to know how it turns out. So it's a very original retelling of Goldilocks and the Three Bears, but one of the three bears is teaching the course. So anyway, and it talks about in there people who plan things out, plotters, people who write by the seat of their pants or pantsers, and people who are a little mix of both. And I'm becoming a mix of both because I'm learning the Snowflake Method. But this is absolutely, I've read a lot of books on how to write to try to figure out, well, how do I get from this mess I wrote to an outline and something to a cover letter to send it off to a publisher, because I used to do that. I had an organized method. Boy, I would send off a short story to a magazine like Fantasy and Fiction magazine, or one of the major places that you send them, or publishers like Tor and Luna Books, and I sent my novels off, and back then it cost me $6 to send the Horse Choker manuscript because it was over 500 pages. Needless to say, I got rejection slips. I wonder why. Maybe it's because my books were so long. Duh. So I'm writing them shorter now. But I'm having to whittle that down and cut out a lot of chaff and just the good stuff. Snowflake Method is the only method that really works for me, and I've tried a lot of them. I am learning about the 3-act story structure, which is the simplest of about 5 methods I've come across. And I am slowly learning about character archetypes. And I've got a long way to go. But anyway, Randy Ingermanson already went through all this. He researched writing methods, and he's a rocket scientist. He is a physicist. Okay, so he has a very logical, ordered mind, and he boiled down all the good stuff out of all these writing methods into a 10-step method for writing a book that really, really works. So, it works for me. I don't know, your mileage may vary, but if, say, you like another method, the save the cat with the beats and all, or you like a 4-act story structure. Snowflake Method will still work with all of these. That's the beauty of it. You can tailor it to your individual needs, which is what I needed. So, I can't say enough good about Randy Ingermanson. He has really helped my writing a lot. So, somewhere in here is the way to, let's see, there should be something about Snowflake Pro, but okay, old Snowflake Pro software, end of life. And don't let that scare you. It just means it's not being updated, but it really doesn't need to be updated. If you've either bought it already, back when it did cost, or if you own a copy of How to Write the Novel with the Snowflake Method, which is not really expensive, you can download Snowflake Pro for free. So that's how you get it. And I will put this link in the chat. So if you want to try Snowflake Pro, just buy the book and you can get Snowflake Pro. So, how to get Snowflake Pro free by buying okay, so that's how you get this. So I'm going to show you Snowflake Pro, and I've already got it up. I had my act together. Oh, that's the wrong one. Not Just Any Orphan. All right. So without further ado, let's go over there. Now the other one, I'm just going to close. So you start with the welcome, and it explains the Snowflake method. The thing I love about this software is that you can play the lecture audio, or you can read the lecture notes, and there are help notes. So you're not by yourself trying to use this thing. So you name your project, and you're going to subtitle it a novel. Amazon Kindle tells you not to do that, not to put what length your thing is in the subtitle. So, for upload, I'll be taking that out. But basically, you want to put what category it falls in, whether it's science fiction, whether it's a romance, whether it's just plain young adult, whether it is a mystery, a thriller, a memoir. You nonfiction writers, you can use Snowflake Method too. So it works for just about anybody, and it works for shorter lengths than novels. I have successfully used it for short stories and short stories. So you don't have to, it's hard to get this expected word count down enough for a story, but it's all right. The main thing you want out of this, Snowflake Pro or Plottr or Typing Chimp, basically they're for generating a new story, or in the case of Plottr, it works very well for a pantser like me going back and doing Snowflake Method on my novel that I wrote during NaNoWriMo. Now you may say, what is NaNoWriMo? I'm going to get that link for you too. NaNoWriMo is gobbledygook for National Novel Writing Month, which I did last November, and that is How I Got Not Just Any Orphan. So, that's the book that I wrote from scratch for my 50,000 words, and I won! Yay! I've got the t-shirt! Whoa! So, yeah, I'm not wearing it tonight, sorry, but alright, I'm gonna go to my handy writer software links, and I'm going to turn you on to NaNoWriMo. Now, you may be saying, well, Granny, it's February, and that happened back in November. Well, you're not out of luck. Okay, you can still join NaNoWriMo, and you can still get all the benefits of all the nice writer articles they put together for you, and you can prepare for April when they have Camp NaNoWriMo, where you again have the opportunity to write a novel with social. Because the beauty of NaNoWriMo is you make other writer friends, and you might find some beta readers. I haven't yet, but I'm still looking. If I was a little more organized and were checking the boards in a timely manner, I probably would get a beta reader a lot sooner. And what is a beta reader? Somebody who is willing to read your stuff. The catch for me is that most writers want you to read their stuff too, and I haven't found anybody that does young adult science fiction that is clean, because I will not read cuss words. I'm sorry. No. I just will not do that. I'm not subjecting myself to that. So, let me get this link for you. And you too can join NaNoWriMo. You get an account, and you can also track a project any time of the year. So say you don't want to wait until April. You want to start on your Great American Novel now. You can, and you can track it on NaNoWriMo. You can, there is a, they have a tracker in Scrivener. Now, the tracker part won't work, I don't think, because it's not November. But when April comes around, I'm sure they will update it so that you can. But you can always update it manually. You can say, okay, I wrote my 1,700 words today. You can go into your NaNoWriMo account and put that in as an addition to your total, and it'll keep track of your total for you. So that way, that's a painless way to go through your 30-day 50,000 words goal, or you can set another goal. Now, I have a goal up there to edit 80 a Scientist and to edit Not Just Any Orphan. So you can have more than one project up there, and it's just nice to be able to go on the forums, and they have a forum every month where you can go on and report your progress to keep you accountable. I haven't been doing that. Naughty me. I need to get organized, but I have ADD, so, you know, it kind of goes with the territory. But I'm showing you Snowflake Pro. So, enough about NaNoWriMo, but, the other thing that I forgot to mention in my other video about NaNoWriMo is that you can attend the monthly Writers Social. And it's a good way to learn a lot. They have a lecture series going on revising your novel, which I highly recommend. And if you missed the January session, it's recorded, so you can still watch it and get the goodie out of it. And every fourth Thursday of the month, they have this Writers Social. And there are other events that are happening year round. So you don't have to say, well, I didn't do it in November. They don't care. If you want to join now, you can still get in on the seminars and whatnot and learn a lot about writing as you go. And have some moral support for revising your novel or your short story or your memoir or whatever you're writing. Revision has always been a traumatic experience for me. Snowflake Method is taking the trauma out for me. I really like that, but you may like another method, and that's fine. NaNoWriMo doesn't care what revision method you're using, and they have a lot of information that you can use to make an informed decision on what methods are out there and find one that works for you. So, it's better than trying to do all the levels of revision at once and want to pull your hair out like I used to do. Now I'm not quite as stressed about that. I stress about other things. But let me get back to Snowflake Pro. Okay, so basically you think about your target reader. So I'm putting somebody who loves children and wants to be a mom and is single and needs a husband. Someone who's going through a tough time right now and needs to be uplifted. I mean, I might change that, but having an idea about what your target audience is a good idea, and it's not what you think. You usually think about all those demographics. People within this age bracket, or people at this income level, or people who like the genre, Randy Ingermanson wants you to think outside the box on that. So that's why my target reader is not what you expect there. Okay, and of course I put my author stuff. And summarize your story in one sentence. Well, I did two. But my sentence is this. Library worker ports her scary neighbor and finds an Elshire orphan. And that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 words. And you have 25, well, I have 25 words. You really want that to be 15 words or less, but I also boiled it down to a different sentence. Library worker, terrified library orphan. All right, let me start over. Terrified library worker finds an orphan. I boiled it down to 5 words. They gave us a challenge to do it in 6 during the monthly social for January. So that's really cool. That's really cool that you can... I've got it boiled down to a formula too. Adjective, occupation, because, if you're working, sometimes your work defines you. It's not always the case, but then a verb and an object. And that's, if you plug those in, adjective, occupation, or just a noun for your person, that's your protagonist, a verb and an object, or a predicate of that sentence, what is she going to do, or what's going to be interesting. And you boil it down to one sentence. So then you expand it to a paragraph. So I'll do that right in front of you. So I'm going to take what I've already got and put it there. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to do 5 sentences. My first sentence is going to be my setup. So I'm going to set it up by saying, all right, she comes home and her scary neighbor gets threatening. So library worker, note I'm not using names yet, is threatened by scary. Well, that's going to be actually the inciting event. So and ports him. That's my inciting event. My setup is that okay. So library worker comes home to her apartment after work and is carrying a heavy backpack with her scrapbooking supplies. So that's the setup. Then Larry Ingermanson says, okay, set up 3 disasters and an ending. All right, so that's the first disaster. She's threatened by her scary neighbor and ports him, which makes her have to leave Earth. All right, the second disaster is after giving back many holdings of cultural items to worlds across 13 galaxies. She meets Emperor Rhino and learns there are many who want to thank her personally. That's the second disaster. Now she's, terrified because she's not an outgoing person. So even a good thing can be a disaster, and it's just something that moves the plot along. All right. The third disaster is Rainbow Unwell army is invaded by Docilians. And this is related to her courting the scary neighbor. So he comes back for revenge. Alright, so that's the 3 disasters. And the ending, Kelly, that's her name. So it wasn't an L name, it's a K name. I wonder I didn't find my file. Kelly has married see if I've got any work done on this yet. I haven't. So, add a character. Kelly Sprite. So you go through all this, and then you take your 5 sentences, and expand each to a paragraph. Then you take your bio and expand it. The character synopsis is basically telling your story through this character's eyes. Then you expand that 1 page to 5 pages, or 2 pages. I guess the synopsis would be 2 pages. You're gonna, if you're looking to send this to a traditional publisher, that character synopsis is a good thing to send, because characters are what's important in your stories. If you don't have interesting characters, your reader is not going to read your entire novel. They're just going to lose interest in the middle of it, or maybe even on the first page. So the idea is to have compelling, interesting characters, because if you don't care about that main character, it doesn't matter how good your plot is, or how intricate it is, or how well thought out your murder mystery is, and how clever your murderer was at covering up his tracks. None of that's going to matter if you don't have a character that grabs the interest of the reader. So, all of this, and with the Snowflake method, you're going back and forth between you do your sentence, you do your paragraph, then you look at your characters, and you take about an hour per character, main character, and write something about them, and you think about what's their goal in this story. And you may learn things that make you go back and edit your paragraph, or even if your first sentence. So you learn a lot through going through first the character bio with all of these questions answered, and then you end up with a sentence summary and a paragraph summary for that character. Then you go and write your page. Then you go back to the character and you write the character's story from their point of view. And especially on those secondary main characters, you're going to learn a lot going through this exercise. Then you go back to your synopsis. You've got your 1-page summary. You're going to expand that to a full synopsis, however long that turns out to be. And it'll keep track of your words and your estimated pages. Then you make charts, which is an even more detailed look at your character and what they like, what they don't like, their strongest traits, their paradox, their greatest hopes and fears, philosophy of life. I mean, all this stuff, their values, ambitions, story goal, and conflict, and epiphany, is from the 1-page character summary here. So you don't have to recreate the wheel. And you can skip any of this you want to. So then you look at your scenes, and he suggests doing this in a spreadsheet. Basically, you're going to take each scene and write just a little summary of it. So, scene 1, chapter 1, Mary bakes a cake. And then, you just, and it'll keep track of your expected pages, words, and actual words. scene details, and you take your sentence summary and write your scene. Then you've got a proposal to give to an editor, an agent, or, you know, you've got a little, I've got my bio in there, I've got, you know, all that. So, yeah. So now you've got this in Snowflake Pro, and so I'm going to save this. And now I'm going to show you how it looks in Plottr. So if I go into Plottr, actually I'm going to close this because I really want to do most of this work in Plottr. Now Plottr costs. I'm not going to, you know, I have a link to where, okay, I've got, let me get this. Here's Plottr. So I'm just going to plug this into the chat. La, 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 la. Alright, and it didn't quite do it, so let me go over here and get the whole thing. Alright. I'm glad I have a cheat sheet. Okay, I'm gonna do this. Yeah, I have a character limit, so boom, there we go. Alright, so let's see who is here while I am in there. Ah, Droop Dog, welcome again. And Taxlip 6, welcome. Glad to see you again. I'm happy that y'all are with me tonight, and I hope you're enjoying the live stream. So, let's get up here, and I'm going to change my capture to Plottr. Okay. Alrighty, so now we're going to go over to Plottr, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to create this from, well, actually I'm going to import Snowflake Pro. So I'm going to go to my Snowflake Pro directory, and I'm going to, let's see, I have it up here. Any orphan. I'm going to import what I have in Snowflake Pro, which is not complete by any means. But, okay, I have the project. I don't have a timeline. I don't have an outline. I have some notes. And there we go. And I don't have my characters, places, or tags. So, yeah, I have my work cut out for me. But, this is going to be, I'm going to save it as, because I have a title thing I've been working on. And I'm going to call this this, not just any orphan, because that's what I was calling it in the other document. Alright, so now I have a little bit, and in my notes I have my one paragraph summary, which is my okay, so I can take this sentence. Alright, come on, don't do that to me. Okay. Well, anytime today, give me my cursor back. I don't know why it's doing this. Let me make it full screen. Okay, here's my setup. So I'm going to go to my outline or timeline, and I'm going to add chapter 1, use template. Okay, and I'm going to use, and we have all these different ways that we could do this. So, you know, you can pick your method. I'm going to pick Snowflake Method. And it's going to give me that. So I'm going to choose it. So I'm going to, in chapter 1, well, I didn't want to do that. So I did Control Z to undo. Control Z works in many softwares in Windows, and for you Mac users, it's Command Z. It will also work for you. Control Z came from WordStar. And WordStar was the first word processor. So the Control X to cut and Control V to paste and Control C to copy, this is a holdover from WordStar. Trivia that you will never need to know, but I just told you. Okay, so, alright, I'm gonna, well, I could choose another template. I'm just going to use this. So I'm going to write. There's my sentence. Okay. My first disaster is going to be, add your details above this line. So I'm gonna give it a minute. Alright, I'm going to go to my notes. Notes, I said. Yes. I'm going to, this is my first disaster. She's threatened by her scary neighbor and she ports him, which means she sends him off planet courtesy of Atlanta police. So we're going to put, and yes, my book is set in Atlanta, Georgia. I love to write about Atlanta because I used to live there. So it's familiar to me, and it's a good setting to just pull out of the hat, and I already know a little bit about the city, so, you know, she's not going to be there very long in this book because she's leaving Earth right then. But, here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna, and I guess this is automatically saving it. Okay, and this is my first disaster. So I usually pick yellow for the first disaster, orange for the second disaster, and red for the third disaster. Your mileage may vary. you can use whatever colors you want. But it's nice that you can do that. And I'm going to tag it, and I don't have tags. Really? Why can't it take my tags? I wish you could set tags once and not have to do it for every story. But it's alright. So, tags. I'm going to make categories. Alright. One is going to be plot. One is going to be setting. And one is going to be character. And I'm also going to, let's see. Alright, so I've got that. So, in plot, I'm going to have the first paragraph is the setup. So it's introducing the characters and all that, and so let me go back to this. What does he call it? What does Randy Ingermanson, what does he call it? Let's see. View lecture notes. Alright. That's one thing I like about Snowflake Pro, is it has links to all these cool articles. Alright. So, to know what category your book fits in, and your bio, and the one sentence. Okay, alright. Backdrop and story setup. So I'm just going to call it story setup. So I'm going to unashamedly copy this and put it. Why do I have two of them? Because I just saved it as that. Did I just... Oh, I hate it when that happens. Alright, I'm going to... Oh, I have plot setting and character. So under plot, I'm going to call this story setup. So that's the beginning. That is Act 1, folks, if you're doing the 3-act method. So, story setup. First disaster. Boink. Second disaster. Third disaster. And the fourth one is the ending. Alright, so basically, and settings. For this story, it starts on Earth. And on Earth, it's the USA, it's Chambly, which is suburb of Atlanta, Georgia. Alright. That's DeKalb County. You can tell I do genealogy. Alright, I'm gonna take this out. Alright. instead of having all that, I'm going to do Chambly, DeKalb, Georgia, USA, Earth. All right, that's the first setting. The next one is going to be the diplomatic service van to Molly's ship. Next setting is going to be Molly's ship, which is how she gets to Alpsir, which is the next planet we're going to be on. And then the last one is going to be Rainbow Unwell Colony. Would help if I spelled it right. It is right. Alpsir, which is about 2 days from Earth. So, all right, so here's all my settings, my characters. So I've got a protagonist, and she's also the point of view character. And I've got other characters, and I haven't decided which archetype system I'm going to use, but okay. So, now I've got some tags set up. I've got my categories set up. So, that's probably all I need. Now, I'm going to go to my notes. And my one paragraph summary is going to get, well, I introduced my protagonist and point of view character. Okay, and the one set summary gives my those as well. Alright. And I didn't stick to one sentence, but you can do that. I did it. You can do that. I'm not recommending you do that, but I did it anyway. So, my genre is young adult science fiction. My premise and theme, I'm going to have to read up and find out what they are. So, alright, I'm going to save this. Alright, my timeline. The first disaster. So I'm going to go to my notes, and the first disaster is she's threatened by the scary neighbor, and she courts him. And then, well, that's really not it though, because she finds the orphan and she has to leave Earth because the orphan is not an earthen. But for right now, I'm going to, since this is already written, and of course you can change it as you go. So, alright. So, my first disaster, so I'm going to go to the timeline. Oh, it's already there. Okay. It's already there. Alright. So let's get the second disaster. She finds out that she's got to meet with all of these high-level people, and she's just a library assistant. So, I can just imagine how that would feel. I worked as a library assistant for many years in various libraries, so yeah, that would be pretty scary. So, add your details. above the dotted line. There we go. And this is going to be the orange. And I'm gonna, well, can I save it? I guess it saves automatically. Okay. And then the third disaster. So I've got to go back to my notes. And, alright, third disaster is Rainbow Unwell Colony is invaded by her enemies. So, going back to the timeline. Okay, add your details. And of course, this is not that chapter. So, alright. Now, okay. And then back to the notes. And my and I need to clean that up. Okay. Oh, how embarrassing. Okay. Save. Alright, so now I go back to my outline. Timeline. Yeah. And alright, I'm adding, oh, I'm not adding a plot line. Uh-oh, I can't control my Z out of this one. I want to add to this one. Okay. Alright. So, third disaster needs a color. It's going to be red, but I'm going to use pink. In fact, I'm going to use dark pink. Okay, now, then I need to add one. I need to add chapters. So how do oh, I can add a chapter. And here's where I have, okay, but that's going to be a lot later than chapter 5. So, chapter 2. But then I've got an outline that I have already gone through Fictionary to do. So I exported that to Calc, and I suppose, I think I showed you how to do that last time. So I'm going to just go to Calc. And let me swap over from Twitch. I wish it would follow me from software to software without me having to change the capture. Okay. Alright, so let me see. My camera's in the way. Alright. Here we go. Now you can see what I'm doing. Okay. Alright, so I'm gonna open, and I'm gonna open. Alright. I'm gonna go way down to not just any orphan. And this is my story map. There it is. All right. Now all I need to do is take this over. It's going to take all night. But anyway, so basically this is what the work I did in Fictionary, and it's in a spreadsheet and ready to port over. So I can just, and I know what characters are in each scene, and I have 76 scenes. So yeah, that's quite a lot, and I don't have, let's see, scene names. Yes, I have the scene. Well, I don't have all the scene names, but I have which ones are okay. So it's actually scene 5 where she has to leave Earth. So all right, so let me go over here and just put them in. Alrighty, so I need to add, alright, creepy Elshar neighbor. Then Elshar breakup, because she sees these two Elshars get in an argument and just get a divorce right like that. They don't have to get a lawyer. So, alright, back to Plottr. And I need to, well, the reason I have 2 Plottr files is because I have a lot more in this one as far as places and tags. I have a lot more development in my tags, so yeah, I might copy some of this over, but I'm not gonna make you sit through that. So basically I'm gonna add a chapter, and here's that title, and I'm gonna add a chapter, and here's this title, Paradise Place. This is where I have Kelly has to leave Earth. So that's how you put the scenes in. And I'm going to take these out because I put too many in. So let's see. I need to move this out of here. course, I didn't fill out all of this, but that's all right. That's all right. Let's see. Story arc. Okay, yes. Okay. So I need to look for the next yes. This is the disaster file. Okay. So this is scene 14. So I'm going to add all of the scenes in there. And of course this is chapter 2. They're really scenes, so I'm going to have to, let's see, here is the scene title. The third one comes down. I don't have all of these named. So, I don't have all of them named. So, yeah, I've got work cut out for me. So, I have a bunch of scene names, but I don't have them by chapters, which I should have, but I don't have. So, but this is my first draft, which I haven't completely finished with all this yet. So, but this is what I have so far. So, you know, you can fill it out as you can, and then, you know, then so by the time you get to the end, you've got a lot more chapters than that. So I can always go back to the manuscript and figure out which chapter these scenes are in. But basically, you've got this. So in chapter 1, she comes home to her apartment. That's probably needing to be further along. But anyway, you know, so this is how you go about that. Then in characters, I can go over here and I can add Kelly Sprite. And category, she is the main character. So I thought I had a category for characters. Well, they're all characters. So she is the main character, and I have an image. I can upload files, and let's see if I can find it this time. So I'm going to look in my book cover projects, and I'm going to see if I've got a file. me see. I'm looking through here to try to spot. Oh, here it is. Not just any orphan. This is the cover that I made up just for inspiration, to inspire me to revise. This might not be inspirational for you, but your mileage may vary. Now what I am going to do, since it doesn't, well, that's good enough. Now I'm going to save that. Now I have a picture for Kelly's sprite, and I'm going to add Nani. Nani is the little orphan she finds, and she is supporting, and instead of having Kelly's picture there, I want to do I don't want to be there. I want to be in book covers, and I want to go there, and I have this picture. So I'm going to do some creative cropping and get this where I want it. So I'm going to just open it. Alright, so I'm going to do two things with this. I'm going to get Kelly so that I can have her smiling face on here. And then I'm going to go back, well, or forward, and I'm going to crop it again so I get the little orphan girl. And there she is. She's so cute. Yeah, so here we are. I'm going to just get her. Alright. Now, and I did her in DAZ Studio, so in case you don't have DAZ Studio, it's free. You can get it at DAZ3D.com, and I will put a link so that if you want to get it, you can. And it doesn't assume that you are an artist or know anything about art. Basically, it's got characters already there. All you have to do is just make them look like the character in your head, and boom, you've got a picture that you can print out and tack on your wall if you want to, or put it on your desktop, and you can have inspiration for your writing. So I will put that, because that is my best writer tool, absolutely, bar none. And I can make my own book covers, which is cool. I love doing that. So let me put that link down here. Okay. And it comes with a lot of nifty things. It comes with people, male and female. It comes with props. It comes with settings. So it's got a few things that you can just double click and it's in your scene, and you can do a picture of it, and then you can create your character and do a render of your character and go in GIMP and do the layer thing. or you can do it right there in DAZ if your computer is powerful enough. So for DAZ, you do not have to have a fancy computer. It will work on an x86 machine, which would be a low-end machine. I don't know if it will run on like a Chromebook. I don't think so. I think you need a little more juice for it. But the specs are on the web page. So I will put that there for you, and you can look at the specs and see if it will work for your setup. But it's one of the best resources that I know of, bar none, because if you're writing, you want to be able to see your characters. Another resource that I use quite often, and I used it at the beginning of this live stream, is Pexels.com. So let me go over there and get this link for you. It is free stock photos with no licensing concerns. You can just use it. It is good to give credit to your photographer, whichever picture you choose from there, but it is also a very good source of pictures of people, places, things. Very good resource for writers. So let me write my little source for stock photos, public domain. And what this means for you as a writer is that if you want to use a picture in your book cover, you can. There is no legal restriction. Nobody's going to come back and sue you, so definitely it's a good thing. So I will put this link in there. And what's a stock photo? That is a photo of a person, or a building, or a statue, or a place, a field with flowers, an alley, whatever you are looking for as a setting for your book. If you're writing science fiction like I am, you might not find a suitable backdrop, but I have even found some good ones for, well, especially my settings on Earth, dark alleys or libraries, public places of all sorts. It's there. And these are high quality pictures. I mean, I could go out and do the photography myself, but I don't have as fancy a camera as some of these people do. And I certainly, being disabled, it's not an easy task for me to pack up both of us in the car, go to Atlanta for the day, find my setting, and get the permissions and all to photograph there. All that's done for you. You can just go on Pexels and look up your location. So definitely there are a lot of very generic locations that would be perfect to set a story in. So I use Pexels all the time. And it's a very good source of pictures for your, if you don't want to go through downloading DAZ Studio and learning how to use it, it does have a learning curve. Any 3D software does. But as 3D software goes, DAZ is probably the easiest of all of them. So that said, now let me, I've got that. And I thought I made another one, did I not? I didn't apparently. Oh, I did. I need to put this over here. And you can drag them over, or you can just do that, and I can just drag it over. There we go. Now I will choose that, and there's Nanny. So my cute little orphan is now up there. So that's how you put your characters in. And now that you've got a character in, what about templates? Because you can just enter some text and that's fine, but part of the Snowflake method is you start off with just something very small, then you do the bio, then you do the story from that character's point of view, and then you go and you do a very detailed character synopsis. No, the synopsis is from the character's point of view. You do a detailed character chart, and for this purpose you have all of these templates built in that you can use. And one of the most fascinating is the Enneagram, and you can also do Myers-Briggs. Now, there is no help inside Plottr for you to do this. However, there are help files. So let me put a couple of these in. Say I want Snowflake Method, and this has a lot of neat things in there. I put them all. I like them all. I put them in there. So, character bio, cognitive distortions, which are good, the Enneagram, goal, motivation, conflict, Myers-Briggs. Did I already put that? I didn't. Okay, and then even birth order. So you can do that. So you have all of these kinds of templates, but you can add a template. One that is neat is the attributes. Now you'll notice I don't have anything in there, but I can go to attributes and I can say, okay, what character traits do I want to track? One for science fiction that is good is species. And another one I like to track is what pets do the person have? And you can just have a little space, or you can have a whole paragraph. Pets, I think, deserve one. And you can put planet or birth planet, because these other ones are not really going to ask what planet or what species the person is, but this one is pretty good. It's got skin color, and it's got religion and city of birth, not planet, but city, so I'm not including that. But you can go through and look at these, and this has a handy link to a website called Psych Central, and it explains cognitive distortions there. So very nice resource on this. And I should probably give you that link. Let me do that. And let me make sure I put it on my resource list. So this is not mental illnesses per se, but this is ways of thinking that can lead to mental illness. So I'm going to give you this resource in case you're not wanting to shell out the money for Plottr. Now, I should mention that Plottr, oh, I should tell you how to get it, shouldn't I? Oh. Or did I already? Yes, I did. Yeah, Plottr is in there. So yeah, so if you want to check Plottr out, it is not a free program. Plottr, if you want to subscribe to it, it's $25 a month. But if you want to buy it outright, it's $99 for one computer, and they do have multiple computer licenses. So if you have more than one writer in your household, then you can be set. I think that Plottr is well worth the $99, and that's one reason I'm broke this month. Because I bought it, but I love it. I think it's excellent. So you can go through these things, and Enneagram also has a link which I will give you. There's the 9 Enneagram type descriptions. So I will that. Enneagram personality types. And this, that's not good. Why didn't it let me? I'm getting my act together. Okay, Enneagram personality types, and I'll give you this link. It is a very quick way to categorize your characters, and it's a neat way to think about your characters and how they interact. And the website is cool. Now, as far as, let's see, is there a visual aid? Oh yeah. Okay. There's lots of diagrams. Okay. This website uses cookies. Okay. I accept all cookies. I don't care. From the Enneagram Institute, but I found let's see, there's all sorts of diagrams. Oh, like this one. Ooh. Okay. Okay. Let me go over here. Oh, this is a nice diagram of the 9 personality types. So I'm going to include this nice Enneagram color diagram. Okay. So this diagram right here is colorful and it kind of lays out the personality types. So, and I'm going to drag that over to my thing. Okay, let me get back up there so I can do so. I'm going to drag it into my thing. Oh. Okay. Come on, stay there long enough. I can drag it over. Alright. Now I want to put that here. Okay. Alright. Now I've got it there. So I can actually I could upload that if I wanted to. So another thing is the Myers-Briggs, and it also has a little thing here and a description of the Myers-Briggs personality types. Actually, I took the test for that at work many years ago. I forget which type I ended up being. But this is really interesting, and you can take this test and find out what type you are. Let's see, I'm just going to copy that from there. Myers-Briggs type indicator. It's based on the work of Carl Jung. So I will give this to you and you can take a look at that. And if you kind of look at that and take a look at what character type your character is, you can make maybe some predictions on how your story should go with that character. So these are tools to help us understand our characters and the way they think and be able to reliably put that in our writing so that the character comes off as genuine. So that's the reason for all of this. That's one reason I like Typing Chimp, because I can plug this stuff in. I can answer a few basic questions about my character and get a write-up of their personality and what kinds of characters they would be attracted to. So it's very useful. So I think the price of Typing Chimp character is well worth it for that one tool. So there's that. The Typing Chimp suite, all 3 packages, is like $70, but I think individually they're like $30 a piece. So, you know, that's another one that And I will put the link to Typing Chimp also. I think I already have that. Do I have Typing Chimp? Yeah. And one thing that I like Typing Chimp for is it generates frameworks for you. So not only can you generate a framework for your character's personality type, you can also generate profiles depending on a mental illness, for example, with accurate information on that mental illness. It's a useful tool. So you could have a character with insomnia or with PTSD, and it goes into what that does to a person. So if they've been through a traumatic event, a lot of our servicemen and women come back with PTSD. And so it explains that. Typing Chimp is very useful. Typing Chimp character is very useful for that. So I encourage you to check it out. They do have a free full-featured trial on that. So on all three of the parts of Typing Chimp. So definitely I like it. So back to Plottr. So you can do all of these things, and some of these don't have any little help files, but I already gave you the link for that, and the link for that. There's not one on that. Birth order, there is a little thing on that. So I'll give you this link also. So let me write up a little description. Birth order considerations. There's a resource for you. So I've given you a whole bunch of links. I hope these are useful. And if you have any comments, I'm looking at the chat right now. Do you guys have any questions for me? Or anything you want me to explain or show you in Plottr while I'm in here? And good grief, my screen is on live with LibreOffice Calc. Let me get that to Plottr. I'm so sorry, I forgot to switch it. Would be nice if it did that automatically. Alien Gathering, welcome. Delots, welcome. And Droop Dog, you're still with me. Thank you. And Taxip S06, thank you for still hanging out with me. I'm happy to have y'all tonight. So I hope this is interesting to you. I'm looking at a whole bunch of stuff, but Plottr, I really, really like this. And it's, so for those of you joining us later in the live stream, let me go back over this. So basically you name your project. One of the biggest things about Plottr that I like is you can have your series. So now, not just any orphan right now is just one book, but it might turn into a series. You could do a trilogy easily if you have a lot of story and it doesn't fit in one place. So you can start with a template and you can add books out here, and then you can plot them on your timeline. So as you can see, I've already added some, these are actually not chapter titles because this is my first draft from National Novel Writing Month back last November. And I let it sit for a month because it's good once you write that first draft to just set it aside and let it sit for a month, because that way you want to, you know, just come back with a fresh point of view when you start your revision. So I have let it sit for 2 months actually. I'm just beginning my revision. So I have gone through and I have named my scenes for some of it, not all of it. I have only got down to scene 24 out of 76. So I still have a ways to go. But the first step towards revising your novel is to go back through and read it. And as you're reading, don't do editing yet. Wait on the editing. Just give your scenes names, and then you will have an outline, and mark where your plot points are. And Snowflake Method gives you a really easy way to do that when you do your first sentence. So you go into your outline. So when you're starting it, in your timeline, you mark your first disaster, your second disaster, your third disaster. And your setup is going to be right in the beginning. So here's my setup. And so you've got a place for your plot line. And I'm using the Snowflake method. There are other methods that you can use with this software, so you are not locked in to your you don't have to do Snowflake method to use Plottr, is what I'm trying to say. So you can add your characters. Kelly Sprite is in this. And places, I haven't got my place list. So if I go to places, I can add, I thought I already did this. Oh, did I delete all my places? I may have. No, I made tags. So my first tag is that's my settings. So Kelly's apartment complex building, Paradise Place, because that's the name of her building in the apartment complex. So now I've got that, and I've got the tags in place. Then the next place that she goes to is the van to Molly's ship, and I'm going to put my tag DS van to Molly's ship. So that's the second place. Then the third one is going to be Molly's ship itself, and that is how she gets to Albseer, which is going to be her new home because she has to leave Earth. So Molly's ship, I need to make a ship and take a picture of it, and then I'll have that. because I have this particular ship in a lot of stories. So there we go. So we've got Molly's ship. Oh, I need a tag. Yeah. Okay, and that's transportation. It leaves from Atlanta Spaceport, so I probably ought to have Atlanta Spaceport, which is in the same place as Atlanta Airport. Was and still is. Okay, in this universe. So I've got that. So Molly's ship is going to also have the Atlanta Spaceport tag. Where is it? Did I forget to save it or whatever? Oh, I need a tag for it. So I need to add a setting tag for Atlanta Spaceport. Okay, so now I can use the tag Spaceport. Alright, so, and I could also add the van to Molly's ship, because that's one way of getting there. Alright, so I have some places. Now I'm going to save that. And other places in my novel are spell it right. Rainbow. Okay. And I have an image for this. Sure do. So I'm gonna go to and I don't have it in there yet, but go to my environments folder, and I have done a lot of groundwork, so I'm going to go to planets, and I have this here, and I have, which one do I want to use? I have a sunset view, and I have a regular view. I don't remember what time of day it was. I also have this one. Alright. And for this one, I'm just going to get the, I'll use that one. Alright. Save it. And there we go. Now I have something. For Atlanta Spaceport, I could get a picture of the Atlanta Airport, but for now, I'm going to just leave it like that. I don't have the ship or the van. I need to make pictures to go with it, because it just, I mean, look at that. It just adds a lot to it to be able to see your setting. So I did this in a software called View 2016, and it costs a lot. I have had it for a good number of years. They went to a subscription program. I do not subscribe to anything except maybe Amazon Prime. On my budget, I can't afford subscriptions. So anything with a monthly fee is like, get that, no. So anyway, these are simple geometric shapes, but they are 7-sided, and giant architecture is this rubbery stuff called Yesfe. And it's really neat because if you fall against it, you don't get hurt. And they build ships out of it, and they build buildings out of it. So this is actually the giant colony Fiea, which is next to Rainbow. But this part of it would apply to Rainbow too. Different buildings of different colors, and Rainbow is more of a hodgepodge because it has some buildings added that aren't showing here. But okay, so we've gone through project where you do your series. We've gone through timeline where you can add your different parts of your plot and have it all laid out. I've shown you the outline view, or I'm showing it to you now, where you've got and you've got some guidance here on the first disaster and what it's the first quarter of your book or story. If you're using the 3-act method, and that's what I am using with the Snowflake method. You can use other formats. If you want to use the Save the Cat and you've got beats, you can do that. If you want to use a 4-act setup, you can do that. So I am just, it's nice that this is built in so that I can say, okay, I want to use Snowflake method and I want to use the 3-act story structure. And that way I've got a little guideline and an example to follow. And Act 2 is going to take it from 25% to 75% of your book, and then the third disaster is near the end. It's about 3/4 of the way through your story. And note that it has story. You don't have to have a novel to be able to use Snowflake method. So isn't that wonderful? It's very nice that you've got this, and you can add as little in or as much as you have time for. So you can do this piecemeal, definitely. And then a place for notes. So if you import a file either from Snowflake Pro, or if you just want to copy and paste from your whatever software you've got your novel in, or your short story, or whatever it is, you can paste it in notes, and you can break it up and put it, you can add tags, you can say what characters are in it. So I can add Kelly, and she finds Nani, so I'm going to add her in there. So, and you can add a place. So you've got and it's got other places, so we can add Alcir, we can, so that's what it looks like all filled out with the 1-paragraph summary and the 1-sentence summary. We've got characters, we've got places, and we've got the Van de Molly ship, and Alps here. So you can add all that in. I don't know why I'm getting an error message. Goodness. Anyway, so, and then you've got a place to put your characters, and saving work this time. Woohoo! Celebrate! Okay. I probably just didn't give it enough time to save going between the different things, and that's fine. It's not a bug in the program. And places, there I've got my places worked out, and I can add tags. I can also add categories. So this is very rich, so you can put all sorts of things in there if you want. So this gives you an idea, you know, if you and you could do character archetypes, and I did this on my other file where I've got the hero's journey. So I've got all of those archetypes from the old hero's journey. I plan to add more, and there's also personality, mental health, species. You know, I've got all sorts of things that I can do. Now if I want to add notes about species, then I could put giant, and I don't have a category, so I'm just going to put main. I can have a picture of a giant just to show you how the notes work. So I can go into my, I've got people, la 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 la, people, and I can have an example of a giant, and I've got characters, I've got a giant character, let's see, well, I don't want the def ping because it's very tiny. I want one of these. So I like that one the best. So I will open it. And now I have a picture of a giant lady. So I'm going to choose that one. So you can put places. I haven't got that place, but alright, so you would see Elshar Giant on Alps here, so I can associate her with that. I can put you're going to see Giant there, and so I'm going to save that. So I'm saving it as a note. So, you know, you can do notes on anything. Anything. The sky's the limit. My mind is blown. This software has it all. So, you know, it's wonderful to be able to do all these things here. Now, this is for story creation or revision. So basically, you're not going to be writing your novel here, you're going to be outlining it. And that is top-down method for story revision. The top level is where you are, to use Fictionary's analogy, Fictionary.com has some very, very good material on how to do this top-down revision. There are a couple of good websites. And if you join NaNoWriMo.org, and I've got the link right down there in the chat, or I guess it's over here, you can get in on some of this free training. There are, Fictionary will give you a full-featured free trial for a couple of weeks to try them out. They are $20 a month if you want to subscribe. I can't do subscriptions. I'm too low income. But you might be able to afford it, and you might think that it's worth it. It's got a lot of neat features on their website that I don't have in Plottr. But Plottr comes close with this timeline. So even though I can't plot this against a perspective perfect novel, so to speak, I can't really compare it to an ideal, but I can lay out my chapters and my scenes, and it really is nice. And this zoom feature, attributes. If I want to add attributes to track about my scenes, I can do like characters. And I can do scene. And I could further break that down, but I can do a paragraph if I want about these, and I could do settings. And I could make that a paragraph if I want. Now I've got attributes that I can add to these. So if I want to add, I just added a chapter. I did not want to do that. No, I don't want to do that. Let's see. Yeah, I can't get rid of it. Let's see. Well, I figured this out earlier. Oh well. Maybe Control Z. No, that's not going to do it. But maybe that is where no. Oh, trash can. Perfect. Okay, well, I've gone over on my live stream, but I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll be back Monday with another look at either revision process or another topic. If you want me to look at something that you're interested in, please put it in the chat. And I will be on my Discord channel after this live stream. So if you want to talk to me, if you have any questions for me or any suggestions on what you would like me to do next time, please come into Discord and leave me a message. In the meantime, excuse me for rubbing my eyes and stuff. My hair is getting in my eye. Oh dear. Quit that. I'm trying to end my live stream here. My hair is being ornery. Okay. Have a good night, and if you're disabled, don't let what you can't do get in your way. And even if you're not disabled, think about goal setting. You want to have goals. Think of the acronym SMART. Okay, you want a sustainable goal, something that you can do long term. You want it to be measurable. You want it to be achievable. You want it to be, what's R stand for? I can't remember what the R stands for. And T, you want it time limited. So think about those things, and you can look up the SMART acronym. In fact, I probably have it on my handy list. If I don't, I need to add it. Let me do that before I leave. Let me find it. Okay, Mind Tools has a 12-minute read on this, so I will give you the link. No, thank you. I don't want to do all of that. I just want a link I can share with folks. Oh, don't do that. I'm putting it in my Obsidian in my notes. So, so here's my little Let me put this in chat so that you can have that as well. Something wrong, it didn't copy. Control C, I command you. Okay, Control V, yes. There it is. So that's a little bit about SMART goal setting. The most important thing you can do as a writer is be nice to yourself. Be kind when you're going through the revision process. It does not do any good to say, well, oh, a dog could write better than this book. You know, don't set yourself up for failure. The fact that you have written anything is an achievement. Yay! Be happy. Be happy that you have that fire, that you want to write something. You want to change the world with your writing. And why aren't I doing it? Don't worry about that. One little baby step at a time. Once you get something written that you want to revise, you want to use SMART goal setting. You know, make sure your goals are tiny little bites that you can achieve. Randy Ingermanson, Snowflake guy, says that if you set a goal to write every day and you make it something ridiculously short, like 5 minutes, you'll do it, right? Your timer will go off and you'll say, oh, it's time to write. You write for 5 minutes, done. And you can check it off. And you can always increase that amount. But he suggests going in very small increments, you know. Write 5 minutes the first day, write 6 minutes the second day, write 7 minutes the third day. The biggest enemy of any writer is procrastination. It's like, you know, you think about revising your novel and you're picturing having to go through the whole entire thing in one day and get everything right. You are setting yourself up for failure. Don't do that. Don't do that. Little achievable baby steps. That is how you get a novel revised. And believe me, it's not easy to revise a novel, but it doesn't have to be like pulling the teeth out. Really? You know, if you just make it into little achievable bites, that is the key, because to be a writer, you want to set aside a little time every day for writing. It's good if you can set aside a couple of hours and churn out 1,700 words every day. But you may not be able to do that. Real life happens, right? So don't beat yourself up if you set a goal for 1,700 words and you only get 5 words because maybe the baby gets sick or maybe you've got to go grocery shopping. It's not a big deal. Just write something every day. And if you do that consistently, you will have something to revise. So don't get so caught up in it's got to be perfect, it's got to be perfect. No, it doesn't. Novels on the bestseller list have plenty of flaws. They may have giant plot holes, or they may have misspelled words. You know, maybe not many of them to be on the New York bestseller list, but if you look at bestsellers on the list and read a few of them, you will find that yes, they have flaws that made it through a team of editors and other people looking at it to try to find these things. No book is perfect. And that includes classics like David Copperfield and Alice in Wonderland and, you know, all those beloved stories from your childhood. You know, all of them are flawed. So don't think that you, as a writer, have to be perfect. You do not have to be perfect for readers to love your stories. You just have to put out some output and spend the time that it takes to make it the very best writing that it can be without beating yourself up. Because what good is it if you write a masterpiece and you go stir absolutely crazy beating yourself up over it? You want to come out of this with your self-esteem at a good level. You don't want to beat yourself up so that your self-esteem is on the floor. Don't do that to yourself. Don't make different rules for you than everybody else in the world in your life. You know? You deserve to feel good about your writing, and you deserve to feel good about yourself as a person. You're a good person. I know you are, because all people are good people. You know, all people have good qualities. All people have worth. And if you think of it that way, then just right now, put it on your list. I am not going to beat myself up today. I am going to look at my writing. I'm going to, maybe tomorrow I'm going to look at my writing, because it is rather late tonight. But don't get so caught up in the goals. If you make some goals and you don't achieve them, maybe it's time to look at them and make them a little more achievable. Scale back a little bit. There is no shame in doing that. I want all of you to enjoy your writing life. And it may be your escape from a horrible real life, If you're living in poverty and you're trying to eke out a living and maybe things aren't going too well on the job, or maybe you're having a conflict with a relative. I mean, life is not perfect. But writing can be a wonderful boost to your mental health, because just writing something on paper, there is healing in that. you don't have to write about you and your situation. You can create a character and have them go through something but triumph. And you can feel good. So that's why most of us write, to get a little success when maybe we haven't got it in real life, you know? So I hope that what I've said tonight helps. And I hope that these things that I'm showing you about these various and sundry tools and methods are helpful. But the bottom line of what I want to tell you is that your writing is good. You just need to polish it. And the polishing process can be a little difficult on our self-esteems, but you want to be able to go through this process and make your writing better without hurting your self-esteem. You want to boost that self-esteem. You know, you don't want to get conceited and say, oh, my writing is so perfect it doesn't need editing. You know, that's not realistic. But you don't want to say, oh, this is total drivel, I need to just throw the whole thing away. No, don't go there. Don't. Just look at it and say, okay, what can I do with this to make it a little easier for someone else to read? So, you know, if you've got a good plot structure and you have one scene that leads into another, then it's easier for the reader to stay interested, and that's what you want. So all these things that I'm talking about tonight, I've learned from other people who are smarter than I am. So I wish you a good night, and I hope you'll join me again. In the meantime, this is Dennis Cole, your hostess for the evening, saying good night from DanniStories. And I hope your writing will go well tonight or tomorrow, whenever you do it. Just write a little bit every day. That's all you need to do to become a better writer and to have something to edit. And if you've written a whole bunch of stuff and you've got a whole bunch of stuff to edit, break it down into little manageable bites. That's the secret. So, have a good night, and I'll see you hopefully Monday, when I will go over some other thing about writing and explore the writing life. Have a good one, and see you Monday. Good night.